Cool. So hi guys, so yesterday we have seen this task. I hope that most of us has also completed this task, right? So the first task was taking the radius of the circle and printing the area. So I believe that we all have, or you all have resolved, or you have tried this particular task at your home, and you'll get the answers. Similarly to this question was like, if we are giving SIA and Dheeraj as an input, right? So the answer will be SJ, right? So this was the task, and here the task was we just need to take the name and the age. So this age will be 2022 age, and we just need to print the uh, age after 100 years, right? So this was the task. Now let's move ahead with other topic now. So guys, today's topic is function. So first thing first, that we need to cover functions. For the functions, uh, I just need to tell you that what are the functions first. So guys, functions is self-contained block of the element It's a general bookish definition, you can say. Self-contained block of the element which will gets executed when it gets called. Gets called. So I'll tell you in a simplest way. So this is the book definition called as. So it's a self-contained block of the element which will gets called when, sorry, which will get executed when it gets called. So it means that let's consider like this. So let's consider as that you have the a box, right? So this is the box, and the box name is Dheeraj. So it means that I will get respond when and when, or I'll give the response when and when someone will call me. Getting me? So let's say if I'm calling the name, then and then I will execute whatever that is there in this box, right? So it's a self-contained block of the element which will get executed when it gets called, right? So this is the basic definition of function. So let's move ahead with slides now. So the function is a block of code which only runs when it gets called, that we have just seen. You can pass data known as parameters into a function. So we'll see that how we can pass what are parameters, arguments, right? Organize your code to reduce the iteration of the program. So like basic thing for function is like we can reduce the iteration, right? What iteration, like what type of iteration we can reduce? Let's consider that if we have a program like yesterday. So yesterday we have print that value of, I think print the value of a plus b lot of times, right? Let's say I have different values of a and b. So each and every time I need to change this print statement. So at the first time I just need to change a plus b. I need to change a minus b. So each and every time I need to write print statement again and again. So for that, what I can do is I can store this print statement into a block of code, right? So this block of the name of that function will be add. Let's say add is the name of that function. I'm just storing the print a plus b or inside this function, and when this will get execute, when and when I'll gonna call that function. So I'll tell you how we can call and how we can declare that, but just wanted to show you this thing, that when it will get executed, when and when we will gonna call that particular block or particular block of code. Now the one more thing inside the function is like function keeps our code as dry. It means don't repeat yourself. So, and that is the main concept of the function, that we can reduce the iteration. So we don't want to repeat ourselves, our code again and again. We don't want to waste our time to write the same code, right? Now, so inbuilt functions. So guys, inbuilt functions so functions are there are two types of function. First name of the first type of function is inbuilt functions. Now what is inbuilt functions? And second is user defined function. So I'll tell you the difference between inbuilt function and user defined function. So guys, inbuilt function is like the functions which is already present, right? Inbuilt functions, it means the functions which are already available, in Python package, right? So what is meant by that? See, we used to call function like this, print. So how Python will get to know that this is the function or this is the calling one? So before jumping to the inbuilt function, we will see how we can call the function, So there are two things. First is declaration, how we can declare the function. Second is how we can call the function. So let's say this is the block, and here if we need to call this function, how we can call it? Simply, we just need to write the name of that function. So name of that function is add, right? So I'm just writing add, and here I just need to write two parentheses in front of that. So this is what calling part. This is meant by calling part, right? And I hope that you remember, if you write print, we used to write print in this. Whenever if you write input, we used to write this, right? So it means we are calling this print function. We are calling this input function, and print and input are inbuilt function. These are inbuilt function. It means whenever we call this print function, it will gonna call the block where the print has been stored, right? Where the name of the block or name of the function is already there, name as print, and we are calling that print, and hence we are getting the result, right? So let's check that how we can verify that, how we can confirm that it is in the print block. So let me open, then let's create this function. So today we're gonna use PyCharm for programming. So here, let's say I'm writing print hi. So here guys, we are, give me a second. So we are calling, let me zoom it for you. So we are calling the print function. How to check? Just hit control, right, in your keyboard, on your keyboard. If it is Mac, just write command, just hit and just click on this print in PyCharm. Getting this, right? So here, what is meant by that is we are calling this function, right? So guys, see, have a look over here now. This is the block. This is the block, right? Inside this block name as print. If you're able to see this print, right? So we are calling this print. So whenever if you write print, no guys, Python interpreter will call this function, and then we will get the result, right? Whatever we are writing or whatever we are sending inside that print, right? I hope you understand until this part. Now, let's move ahead. So this is what the inbuilt functions, right? So there are few inbuilt functions in Python. Now we will see that, and then we will move towards user defined functions. So there are some rules to declare that function, guys. right? So we need to follow some rules. So you can define function to provide the required functionality. So we will come to the declaration and calling part when we're going to study the user defined functions. So till that thing, just ignore this slide. Now let's move ahead. Let's go with inbuilt functions. So, and one more thing, guys, inbuilt functions are only applies to strings. Inbuilt functions are only applies to strings, right? So this you need to keep in mind. Now let's check, or let's start with one function. We remove this here. Now I'm storing name is equal to welcome, or let's say nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Now here, nothing is impossible in the sense it's a string. If I need to print that nothing is impossible, I'll quickly write print. So I told you at the first time only, whenever if you want to run the PyCharm code at the first time, just hit right click and just hit run function one, right? The name of that. So you'll get the result as nothing is impossible. Now, what is the first function that we have? The first function is strip function. What strip will do, guys? Strip method removes any white spaces from the beginning or from the end. So guys, from here, you all needs to focus with the functions, because you don't know which function is going to use where in network automation. So basic funda is like you need to keep in mind, okay, the strip is used for removing the white spaces, split is used for this purpose, lower is used for this purpose, right? So in the programming, you need to learn these functions, right? I'll gonna take your questions, guys. Let's after 10 minutes, right? Let me finish this topic and we will come to this part. Now, meanwhile, just write your question. Now, the first thing is strip, right? So we have just read that it will gonna remove the white spaces from the beginning or from the end. So if I write print, right, name dot, if you hit name dot, no guys, see these are all the function that string supports. So we just want to use the strip. If you write strip and if you print that, let's print it, we're gonna see we are getting nothing is impossible without white spaces. So if you want to check, let's say I'm writing here name, right? If you run this code, see now I'm getting here, you can see there are white spaces at the beginning and at the end as well. See, these are the white spaces, but here there is no white spaces because we use strip function. We use strip functions. Now the second function is, so I hope you're clear with strip function. It's just to use remove white spaces from beginning or the end. But what if the requirement is you just need to remove white spaces from the end, so at that time, guys, you can use print name dot r strip. You can use r strip, means right strip. So it means that I just need to remove white spaces from the right end. So if you run this, see the white spaces from the right end, it gets removed, right? Here every white spaces from right and left both gets removed. Here only right gets removed. As usual, vice versa, if you need to if you need to remove the white spaces from the left, you can just use L strip, right? If you use L strip, only the white spaces from the left will get removed, right? So this is what the strip function. Now, I hope you all are clear with strip functions. Now let's move to other function, name as split. So what split will do, guys? The split method split the string into substrings if it is find the instance of a separator. It means that what? So guys, let me do this thing. Let me remove the white spaces in the string, and here always keep in mind that split will split the existing string into substrings. So how to do that? How it will gonna split? So here I'll just write name dot split. So that splitting or dividing one string into multiple strings, you should know some of the parameters. On the basis of that only it will gonna split. Now, here, I'm not writing anything inside this curly braces, inside this square, inside this parenthesis. So it means by default, right? By default, if you're not writing anything, so always keep in mind, by default, it will gonna take space, right? So space is the parameter through which it will gonna separate. If we run this code, see, on the basis of space, guys, it will gonna separate. Let me do this. So see, here there is a space, so it will gonna separate. Here there is a space, it will gonna separate, right? So don't worry about it. What is this? Why it is coming in square brackets and all? Just to tell you one thing, like it will just separate. We will see when we'll study list at that time. What the split method you will understand better when we study list, right? So right now you just need to keep in mind that it will gonna, if you're not writing anything into this parenthesis, it will gonna split on the basis of space. Now I don't want to split on the basis of space. I just want to split on the basis of I, right? So here quickly just write in the string format I. If you write I, guys, and let me run this code, see, now it is splitting on the basis of I. Until this part is one thing, until this part will be the second thing. See, including space. This is another I, so this is the third, and this is the fourth. I think this is the fourth, and this is the fifth, right? So in this way, you can use split. So I hope you are clear with split now. So split is used to split or separate the string into a substrings, right? So this is the split method. Now, second method is lower. Lower is as simple as the word indicates. Lower means whatever string that we have, it will gonna print in the lower case, right? So if we try that, if we hit print name dot lower, if you hit name dot lower, let's see what is the output. See, everything that we have, which will come inside the lower case. Vice versa to that is upper. Upper means everything will be in the capital. See, everything will be in the capital. Now, one more thing here. So, if we need to write only first letter as capital and others are small, only first letter as capital and others are small. So for that, we have a method named as capitalize. We have the method named as capitalize. So if we run this, see, only n is capital and everything else is small. If you convert that into small n,